Hello everyone. I am very glad that I am welcome from a piano background. That's something never happened before, but that's very good for me. I want to thank you, the one that are already tuned to our broadcast and the one that will come sooner or later. And I want to, first of all, introduce to you my guest for this program on choral arranging. We are from very different geographical areas, but that's really the good thing about this program. So I will start from the person that is at my right. That is Robert Delgado. Robert Delgado is a Filipino composer, arranger, conductor, and involved with the choral music in all possible levels. So thank you very much for joining us in this program. Then under me, but only under in the screen, of course, there is the arranger, composer, and conductor Roger Emerson. So thank you very much to join us for this program. For me, it's the first time we meet in person, in a certain sense, even if virtually. But we were friends in Facebook for a long time, but this is the first time that that we can talk. So thank you very much for joining, and we really appreciate your presence. And then in the corner, of course, only visually, there is from Argentina my friend Oscar Escalada, also professor, conductor, composer, arranger. So there are so many things to say about each one of you that half of the program will only pass saying your valuable things. So for the one of you that don't know me, I am Aurelio Porfiri from Italy, composer, conductor, writer, and also arranger, even if not so much as my other three friends. So, how will be this program? This program will be in this way. We will show one arrangement for each one of us, and then we will discuss together about this arrangement. So I think will be a very meaningful discussion. Before going to that, I want to show something to the people that is this. If you want to find what we are doing, you can find in our three YouTube channel, Aurelio Porfiri, Ritorno a Itaca, and Chorus Master. That is this one we are now broadcasting this program. In Facebook, I am in charge of several groups, including Facebook Association of Choral Conductors, Music and Education Academy, Musicologia, Teologia, Liturgia e Musica Sacra. And then in Facebook, there is my fan page, that is the one we are using to broadcast this program. And if you want to be always updated about our future program, please subscribe my Telegram channel. You can find my name, Aurelio Porfiri, in Telegram, so that you know every time what we are doing. And about what we are doing, I want to show you something before we go into our discussion of today. Saturday, we have a very nice discussion about Wagner, Nietzsche, Schoenberg, and Mick Jagger, the dark side of modern music. And with me will discuss Dr. E. Michael Jones and Dr. Mario Iannacone. So this will be Saturday, you can see, at 5 p.m. Italian time, and then 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 11 p.m. Western Standard Time. And then on Monday, I want to show you we have this very nice program, How Musical is the Child? Music in Early Childhood, and June 29, 4 p.m. Italian Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 10 p.m. Western Standard Time. With me, there will be Professor Nicholas Bannon from Australia, then Professor Zinfira Pollods from Canada, and then Dr. Erimas Velishka from Lithuania. So these are the next program we are going to present. And now we go directly into our program, and I want to start with the arrangement by Oscar Escalada. So we will listen now to Libertango. So maybe Oscar, you want to say few things before I play your video.
Well, Libertango is a piece written by Astor Piazzolla, a very famous composer. He writes particularly tango, the music of Buenos Aires, and there, there are just a few arrangers for this kind of music, and as I was not his friend, but I met him several times. We crossed our stages, and I like very much his music. So I did a lot of arrangements that are published at shows, music publishers. And this is one of these selections. It is not published like in the same way we are going to listen to this, but anyway, we are going to discuss after
Okay.
we listen.
So now I prepare to share your video, and so now we listen to this performance of yes, this one. Yet let me put everything working well, and okay. So please enjoy. Okay, so
Thank you.
so let me stop first. Yes. So I want to start saying something, and then of course everyone can comment in the way they want. I know this piece because I performed this piece already with my choir in Macau. Oh, let me stop the. There is something here. Sorry. With my choir in Macau, and I find very difficult to perform this kind of arrangement without having the girls moving, because the piece is so rhythmic, that is this group from Armenia is, they are very good and they did a very good job. I mean, but I think it's quite difficult with this kind of pieces, to stay like standing like this. What do you think?
Absolutely, I agree with you. The music is part of the body. I mean, you produce it with the body, and if you need to move yourself, you're not the stick. Then you move, and it's good. It's good for the music. It's good for the singer. It's good for everyone. So if you need to move yourself,
Yeah, and especially
just
in a piece,
go ahead and do it. So
Roger.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
There has
You were
been
saying.
there's been a big movement over the past 10, 15 years of, it used
Yeah,
to be choirs stood straight and now music
yeah.
dances.
Yes, and especially
So
when it's a music like that one, that where you can not. I look at you when I play the video, and of course all of you were moving the head because it's a natural, no, there is a rhythm that of course is taking you very strongly. I don't know, Robert, you want to give some comments?
Yes, uh, yes, I understand because the music is very rhythmic, so you are not able to express the total feel of the song if you will not move. Because in rhythm, I mean, if you're singing, I've been singing also for quite some time before. So if you're not able to move your body as you sing, the rhythm, especially the main point of the song, which is the rhythm, you won't be able to express the rhythm very much. And very Argentinian is the tango music. So
yeah.
you have to the stress and the accents. They should be able to stress that, and you won't be able to do that without moving your body.
Well,
Exactly.
and of course it's a tango. So
Yeah,
tango is a
Yeah.
dance.
it's a dance.
I
But
have
there
two
is another
questions.
thing that I think I found it very interesting in this question is that in the Middle Ages, you remember the music was the music was the religious music was they didn't repeat the melodies, they didn't repeat the subjects, and there was very difficult found to find the places where the melody or the rhythm was repeated, and all the things were done in a complicated way in order to avoid the pleasure that you feel when you recognize something that you have done before. So the repetition was not good thing in those days.
Interesting.
But this is opposite, completely opposite. This is an ostinato. Param pam param piram param. And it's repeated all over the song. Over that ostinato comes the melody. But the main thing is that the ostinato, you must sustain it with a strong rhythm. Otherwise, you lose the essence of the spirit. You know absolutely that tango is a popular has a popular origin. I mean, it's like if you listen to jazz or you listen to any other music, popular music movement, it just stands there. But in addition to this, the popular music of Latin America is very much influenced by the black music. And we import from, we import. The black people that came to America brought as slaves. They brought also their culture. And they enrich the culture that was already there with the natives and blend with the culture of the Spaniards and the British and all the people, the European people that came in those days at the beginning of the 1500 and spread out all over the Americas. So there is not possible, there is not one note in Latin American music that is not influenced by black music.
Wow.
So this is impossible. If you don't move your body, it's not the way you have to interpret this music.
Roger?
Oscar, I have two questions. Number one, we must know how we can get a hold of that here in the States, your arrangement, because my fellow arrangers, directors, composers are going to want that piece tomorrow. The other is, I was surprised there were not percussion instruments, shaker, and those kinds of things.
Yeah, because the tango originally didn't use this kind of instruments.
Okay.
Although that it was the origin of the tango is the habanera, and which is directly a music that is played in Havana with at least the claves, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the tango didn't get that.
Okay, lovely.
It's funny, but no instruments. In spite that the folk music use all the time the drums and all this time.
And I have a comment, and there's also a question that is this piece because I also performed it when I was in Macau with my students. I think has two main parts. One is the rhythmic one, the ostinato, the one you sing before, and then there is the part where it's more expressive, like a kind of central part. Don't you feel? I feel also in this performance they were very good, but that the ostinato in a certain way eat the expressive part, so that they cannot, slow down and be expressive in this is tango music, is really sensual music also, there are people dance in a very sensual way. So don't you think that these two parts are not always very well differentiated?
In this particular case, I think it's a problem of microphones or something, because normally, well, these people I had them personally, and they are very good. They are really good.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
The conductor is outstanding. I think it is a problem of sound. Normally, it comes out. And the second thing is that all the music that is below the melody is also nice. It's melodious. It's not only just an accompaniment, a rhythmic accompaniment like it was in the first part. So sometimes people are very much how do you say, compelled to sing it louder. But in this case particularly, I think you don't recognize the melody clearly because of the mics.
Well, and
yes, you're right. Yes,
that's the art of choral conducting, is that each conductor will decide whether they get parity or whether one is subordinate to the other, and that's part of the
absolutely yes
throughout the arrangement because it is repetitive. So the art.
And there is something I want to introduce here, because I think we will discuss about this in all our arrangements. So that is about the style of conducting. sorry, the style of arranging. Because, for example, I may take, like you will listen, my arrangement of the Indonesian folk song is a very Western arrangement. You know, I don't pretend to arrange in a way like an Indonesian because I cannot. I'm not. And so I take that melody and I arrange it in a very, Western European style. So in your case, of course, there is much more identity between you and the piece because he's Argentinian, it's tango, you are Argentinian. For you, is much easier. But I just want to know how you how to say transform the music from mainly instrumental music to vocal music. What are the process you taking a piece that was thought to be like with the how it's called accordion,
Yeah, I
and
understand.
then you have to do it for a choir.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, for me, it was a very easy thing to do because when I started to sing, in those days, there were many, many groups, many important groups that I loved to hear all the time. That they were doing all these kind of things. For instance, let me tell you, swingle singers. But before swingle singers, there were another groups in France, like for instance, the double six de Paris. They add to the solos of the jazz bands text, very difficult to sing, but all the improvisations were with text. And then many other groups from the United States, there are the four, the four freshmen, you name it, a lot of I'm sure that Roger understand what I'm saying because yeah, both of us were at that time very young people, and we like very much that music. So for us, for me at least, it's not a problem to make some translation into instrumental parts to the vocal parts. The other thing that I developed, yes, is the idea of the words. The words are nonsense. I mean, I didn't use the same principle that the French group used, that was put in text. No, I just put words with nonsense words. We call phonemes. I don't know if you call like that. Phonemes doesn't. They are just not
Yeah.
words. Um, so it is not very difficult. The difficulty is the range of the instruments. So you have to make an effort to put the melody in the upper part for saying, and sometimes you have to avoid some interesting melodies in the middle because they are doing. It's not possible to do it. Um, but well, we translate the instrumental parts to to the voices, and this is something that is being doing for a long time, at least for more than, I think it's more than 20, 30 years. People are coming to use the original music like Bach, as I said, um, and they translate it into voices.
May I say that I also agree with Roger. The last time when you said that my friend choral conductors really want to have the piece of Senor Escalada. Now, because we have already sung a piece of Senor Escalada during our time with the Philippine Madrigal Singers, and the arrangements of Tangiando, the one that we sang, and the one that I heard now are almost the same. It's more rhythmic because I think the nature of their music, Argentine music, is more rhythmic. And this has the style of arrangement of Senor Escalada is more, somehow the same as one here in Asian music. The only problem, the only difference is we uh, emulate the Asian instruments rather than the South American instruments of or whatever. So they also try to emulate the sound of the instruments,
Yeah.
and then they employ nonsense words as well to be able to imitate the sound of the Asian instruments that we have here in the Philippines. And then we associate them with the melody of the chants here in the Philippines, because most of our Asian music are more chants. I mean, there are very few notes. So I think it's the same. And also, we are in the Philippines. We have been colonized by the Spaniards for 300 years. So our music has somewhat similar to the Spanish music. Spanish music, not only straight Spanish, but also um, music of the different Spanish genres, including tango. So for us, it is not really difficult, or it's not really difficult um, for us to understand the music. So actually, I enjoy the music as well.
Someone say Regin Reino say like cooling tongue. What is maybe for Robert?
What
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 there is a comment say like cooling tongue. What is cooling tongue?
Kulintang is an Asian instrument where you
Ah,
have a suspended gongs, and then that's around seven small gongs
ah.
in different sizes and different tunes. So that's most of our ethnic music or arrangements are
Mm.
based on these kinds of instruments.
And indeed, I'm thinking about this also. That like the voice imitating the instrument is very popular in basically every kind of choral music arrangements. Because I remember also when still in my time in Macau, we have a workshop with Dick Sharon, probably Roger knows well, and he was teaching my students how to like do the drum, the trumpet with the voice. So this is something that indeed I think is very popular, especially in the a cappella environment in the United States. But
I have
now, yeah,
I
please.
just have a quick question of
Yes.
Robert. Would emulating Asian instruments involve more in the mask singing, brighter, perhaps at
Uh,
times?
yes. They usually imitate as well the chants, the how the locals do the chants. So they're not really on the westernized style of singing. So they imitate the locals. So since these locals do not really have any education in formal vocal singing, so they just use their whatever they think is
Yeah, right.
coming from their mouth, I think.
The other thing I just wanted to clarify before we move on, those sort of nonsense syllables, at least over here in the States, we're calling them vocables. And then, of course, with lyrics, it would be vocalese,
Mm.
swingle singers, etc., I believe. So I hope that helps. I hope I'm being accurate. So
Oh, thank you. So I want to move on, and then of course we can still talk about the arrangement of Oscar when also we will look at other arrangements. So probably I will show you my own arrangement of this lullaby uh, called Lelo Le Dunghe. That is this was done because I was invited in Indonesia, maybe 2009, and they asked me to arrange this piece. Now I will show you the choir conducted by Astri Sumantri in Jakarta. Just give me 1 second, and then this arrangement, and then we will discuss. Yes, now I go like this, and we start. Here it is. So I want to say about this that for me, I just take the melody because they just give me the melody, and I really don't care about the original, folk dressing of this melody. But how to say, I incarnate the melody into my musical world. You may feel that I'm very strongly a composer. We follow modal scales, for example. So I use modality a lot. Maybe you want to have some comment about this. Maybe Robert.
It's beautiful. I like the melody and the arrangement. Although simple, it is really flowing. It has counterpoints and everything. But yeah, this is a trend now because in Indonesia, because we have also Indonesian friends who are in choral singing,
Yes.
and it has been separated very ethnic Indonesian and very popular Indonesian songs. So the arrangements, correct me if I'm wrong, but now the Indonesians do not only sing their ethnic or native original ethnic songs, but now they're trying to sing popular tunes and arrange more of a Western style of arranging.
Yeah, exactly. Indeed, I can tell you. Of course, there are very famous Indonesian arranger, like also like I don't know, Bodi Susanto or other that they do more like traditional Indonesian. But when this was performed in Indonesia, I remember that the Indonesian people, they were really can relate with my arrangement. I mean, they don't feel the arrangement was foreigner to them because in any case they are exposed to Western kind of music as all are in the world, so they don't feel that was a foreigner to their own understanding. And I don't know, any of you want to Roger?
It was lovely.
Thank you.
I love your harmonization. I think it works really well. If I was to make any change or any suggestion, I think I would have taken more time with the modulation. I would have gone ahead and made it almost I don't want to say almost bridge like, but sort of yeah into the new key. But
yeah,
again, that's part of the art.
Yeah, that is a possibility, but I have only like 3 minutes piece, so I have to condensate everything in a very short time. So, but of course, the possibilities are are infinite. We can make and I'm sure if we arrange the same melody, it will be so different because all we have very different understanding, background.
That's always a wonderful exercise to
Well,
have several different arrangers,
there was
composers.
an element of surprise when it suddenly modulated, right? There was I was quite, what? There's a modulation.
And there's value to that.
Yeah, but it's a quite short piece, so there is not so much space to do many things and modulate. So I think the modulation in them, and also I have to tell you frankly, this is something maybe will surprise you, but because I am mainly a church music composer. Okay, I compose mainly church music. My like 99% of my music is music for Catholic liturgy. So I have to say frankly that in our church music, uh, usually modulation like the one I have used uh, is used like a cheap trick. It's like this very very easy trick to get people attention. This is why, yeah, this is why I use it, not so much because for me relate to something that is bad taste. But in that case I think it was good in the case I use it. But this is why I don't use so many. Oscar, you want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to say something that about what you've said recently. Every one of us have uh, our own background,
Yeah, of course.
and we were born in an ambience that, for some, the classic music was the start, or some of us maybe started learning the music, writing music, and start playing the instrument with a score and repeating the notes. And some others perhaps started just playing the music, just listening, uh, playing some instrument by heart, and try to develop the music. And then we started music, to study music. Well, that was my case.
Mhm.
I Maybe some others are on the opposite side. They started to learn music, and after some time, you started to work freely on composing, arranging, and that sort of things. But um, my background is popular music. Even though I wrote operas, I wrote misa. How do you say misa in English? Mass,
Masses.
mass. Yes, um, masses, and that's all. But if you listen to the mass that I wrote, you will hear the sound of some popular rhythm behind, because it's part of my soul.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to lie to the people doing something that I don't like, or doing something that doesn't belongs to my personality.
Mm.
So if you write music like you have been saying, Aurelio, that mainly do religious music, well, it's going to be um, something that is not common, not the music that you take to arrange. Maybe this is the music that you like to arrange, and it is like, I mean, I felt it like a prayer. I don't understand the text, but I felt it like it was a prayer, and a
It was
lovely
a
prayer.
lullaby. It was a lullaby.
A lullaby. Okay, okay, a lullaby. Okay, and well, it sounds lovely, and I think it it was going to be difficult to make it in a rhythmic situation. Perhaps in a slow, very slow something, but it was lovely like it was in this case. And I think it belongs to the background that each one of us have. As Robert said, my work is not an arrangement; it's an original work, tangueando. I use many things that belongs to the music that I met when I was born. I I ate with that music. I breathed with that music. So that is part of my whole body. And it is very interesting. I am sure that Roger will tell us something about jazz because I mean it's part of you. It's part of that spirit. So it's good that each one of us are doing different kind of music because
This is
it
the beauty,
enriches
indeed.
the
I
whole.
really think this is the beauty because I really appreciate, for example, your arrangement of the Astor Piazzolla piece because I know that I would never be able to do something like that because it's not my spirit. You know, maybe I will arrange that piece in my own way, but will never be like you because for you it's really, as you say, something you eat and breathe since you were very young. And I'm sure this is true for every one of us. This is why I don't even attempt to do like a Indonesian folk arrangement because I would be ridiculous. I mean, I really would not know where to start. But I think that in this kind, or in the case of this peculiar melody, it works well with that arrangement because the melody was quite, quite plain, quite romantic, if you want to say. And so it blend well with the kind of Western music. But also, this is the same thing that composer have done in history. They take a chorale and they arrange with the Baroque technique or with the Romantic technique or with the, I don't know, diatonic technique. I mean, there are so many ways that what is important is to be honest to yourself. So this is what I am. I was grown up in church with church music with Gregorian chant. So for me, of course, this is the my word. This is my word, and I'm sure for Roger, of course, will be jazz and all the American folk music tradition that is also very relevant and very important. So if you don't mind, I want to play now the piece arranged by Roger. And maybe Roger, do you want to say something before I play the video?
Well, very quickly. I've always written for a purpose for school groups to usually solve a problem. And in this case, I had two goals in mind. One is I wanted my baritones to have the melody all the way through, because oftentimes the baritones have less experience than the sopranos and altos. And then this cowboy tune has always been set in major, but I felt that the lyric desired minor. And so I set it minor instead of major. That's also compelling to young people for some reason. I don't know, it speaks to their angst. And so it's sort of my setting of this sort of familiar cowboy folk song here in the States, Red River Valley. And I'm very pleased with it. I love the way that it works, and I think it's very easy to sing for the baritone. So.
Okay, so let us listen the song, and then we will have together some little discussion about this.
From this valley they say you are going. I will miss your bright eyes and sweet smile. For they say you are taking the sunshine that brightens our pathway along. Oh, just think of the valley you're leaving. Oh, how lonely, how sad it will be. And just think of the heart you're breaking, and the grief you are causing to me. Red River Valley, Valley calls out to me. My heart is breaking, aching. Why can't you see? Come and sit by my side if you love me. Do not hasten to bid me adieu, but remember the Red River Valley, and the one who has loved you so true, has loved you so true, and so true, has loved you so true, so true.
Okay, so I want to maybe start saying something. Wait, I will. Yes. So I will start saying something, and then of course every one of you can comment. Of course, it's a very nice arrangement, and also I feel very American. You know that's not. Of course, it's not. This is exactly what Oscar was saying before. So if you give me that melody, it would be very different, the result. But I don't mean better or worse. It would be more European, and Oscar, I'm sure, or Robert, they will do two different things. So I feel that you use this kind of jazz harmonies, but you use them in a kind of lighter way. I don't know if because I performed some of your arrangements before when I was in Macau with my students, and they were more jazzy, you know, like very heavily with the. So what you can say about this?
Well, I realized that I've been writing for 44 years, and the first chord of my first piece was a D minor 9. So I obviously love clusters. But you're right. This takes on almost a pop jazz Dave Grusin kind of underpinning, which is different than my sort of traditional vocal jazz. The real group, the Four Freshmen, the High Lows that Oscar referred to. Yeah. And we grew up with, one of the things I lament about today's kids is that, at least here in the States on AM radio, we heard everything from Sergio Mendes to Dave Brubeck to the Beatles to the Rolling Stones. We got this eclectic blend of music growing up. And today it is so segmented. When they go, give me more Dave Matthews, and they'll hear just Dave Matthews. And so, we are all products, as we've said, of what we hear. And I love those modern chords. But you're right, it's a different kind of modern than, say, New York Voices.
Also because the melody is a cowboy song, so it has nothing to do with jazz in origin. It's even if is American, but you are doing what indeed I did. So it's a sort of transformation. You don't arrange the song as a cowboy song, but you arrange the song as a sort of jazzy kind of song. But indeed, it's also, for example, you mentioned before the King Singers. For example, if you listen to the CD where they perform the Beatles song, they perform some of those arrangements are in the style of madrigal or Renaissance madrigal, for example. So I think this is what is also the beauty of doing this kind of things, that you have a lot of colors that you can use, and if you have the craft, or this is why we discuss about the craft. If you have the craft, you can do wonderful things. This is, I think, the beauty of doing arrangements.
Well, and I think this, and that's that we'll find, and I bet when we listen to Robert's piece, it will be melodic as well. And melody is what stands the test of time. Every one
Yeah.
of these has had melody, and it's melody that just grabs our soul and does not go away. And
Yeah.
that's the beauty and joy.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
wanted to add something
Yes.
in the way that we were talking before. Um, your arrangement, Roger, still keeps the feeling of the American people. I mean, the traditional music. I can see when I listen that music, I can see. Let me tell you in a rough way, a cowboy walking through the hills or through the mountains or through the western part of, I mean, it's a very the music that you has received when you were young, it's now appearing here. I mean, it's. I think it's you are honest with your music. I mean, you. I am sure that if you are called to do with this melody something with a big orchestra, you're going to do it. But I am sure too that the spirit of the song, we are not. You are not going to lose it because it's part of your life. It's part of your background. It's part of what you've seen and what you've seen every day.
Well, you hit on something very important, and that's that I am not as skilled a musician as many others. I am a very organic musician. I felt music since I was a child, and I've always relied on my ears, and it just flows out of me. I'm not an intellectual musician particularly. I've had to sort of work at that. So,
Yeah.
but thank you for recognizing that, and I appreciate your.
I remember what a fantastic teacher that I had. I told you that I started my life without knowledge of any kind of technical music, nothing. My start was by hearing and playing the guitar and playing the piano and playing the drums and playing everything. I was playing everything. Everything that came to my hands, I wanted to use it. But no music, nothing at all. Absolutely nothing. I didn't know what a C was and what a 4/4 was. Nothing. I didn't understand that. So everything that I did was just with my spirit, by intuition. And a teacher, I was already studying at the university, and he told me, what we are doing here is not making you a musician. You are a musician. That's why you came here. And we profit from that. Because otherwise, if you were not musicians, we wouldn't do anything with you. So you are willing to do this because you feel the music. And this is very important because we can only add something to what you brought. So you brought the intuition, and you are going to continue working throughout the whole life with an intuition. But intuition has a limit. When that limit arises, then the knowledge of the music comes and helps you. But if you don't need it, you don't use it.
Brilliant.
That was a very lovely advice that I had, and I am very thankful for that.
Before asking Robert, yeah, I know you want to say something. I want to ask one little thing to Roger. So this piece we perform. This was a piece that you arranged because you want to arrange it, or because someone asked you to arrange?
No, it was my choice. Every year, we have sort of publishing seasons, and I always try and do a folk song or spiritual or something. And I've been focusing a little more on few pieces that give the baritones the melody throughout to try and meet a need. And yeah. So.
Okay, Robert.
Yes, it's nice. It's cute. I like that. But at Roger, since 1980s, 90s, we already have, we as choir choristers, we would go to the United States and look for pieces. And we have been, listening to these kinds of music, and that's very distinctive of American music. And what I liked about the arrangement was a song that is very popular. Even I know the song, the tune, but it was arranged in such a way that it's different. You had the close harmony there, and then you have the jazz feel there, and it's because it's your style. And I don't know. I'm sorry, but if I never heard your other arrangement, but I'm sure that those arrangement, your style or your personality or your expression comes goes through that music. So what I want to point out is each one of us as arrangers have our own style of arrangement of style. Maybe I don't want to be arranging folk tunes. I want to arrange popular tunes, and I don't want to arrange a very should I say very complicated music. I think this is because the music that we grew up with uh, affects the arrangement, the style of arrangement we are doing. So when I checked on the score that you did, Roger, it was really quite. I knew it would be like that. I mean, it was expected, but I was surprised because it was treated in a different style, a cowboy music, and then arranged in very. It's very interesting.
Cowboy, yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think also that is what is important coming from our discussion, that our differences is indeed an enrichment, because I'm sure that even if Robert will continue to be a Filipino arranger and I will continue to be Italian arranger, but still we can get some good influence also from what others are doing. This does not mean that Roger will ever write like me or like Oscar, but he can get, and as we can get from him, some good, some good skills, some good inspiration. Because indeed, jazz, even if was developed in United States, but has also inspired many also serious composers in many parts of Europe. So I think that's important what we are doing, to exchange, experiences and exchange opinions, so that we can also grow ourselves, whatever the age we have, because we never stop to grow. We learn something every time, every day. So to add something to our learning, I want to play now the video from Robert. Maybe Robert, you can say something before we listen to your arrangement.
Yes, just like everybody has said, the style of our arrangement comes from how we grew up by listening all these kinds of music in the way of our growing up. And me, in my case, I arranged this piece because I was singing with a madrigal singer, madrigal style of singing, and this arrangement, although it was not arranged for this group, but the I grew up, yeah, probably I arranged this song 5 years after I was singing with the madrigal singer. So I was the madrigal singing was embedded in me already. So that's the reason why this arrangement has something to do with a madrigal style of arrangement, which Andrea Veneracion would say that my arrangement is kind of a madrigal style of arrangement, because I grew up, or I was experienced, or my experience was singing with the madrigal singers, and all this music that the madrigal singers were singing, I was able to imbibe. So, but the problem is, or the thing is, in the Philippines, during the 1990s, there were popular music as well. Once that you listen to the radio, or once the theme song of a movie theme or movie. So I took that. I was watching movies all the time. So that has influenced my music. So I was able to get the melody of a popular tune, pop tune, and arrange it in a madrigal style. So that is how this arrangement came about.
So
And
this arrangement is a pop song.
no, it isn't. It's a pop. You know, the American pop style of music.
Ah,
You know, composed in the 90s or 80s. So this is not a folk tune, but it's a pop tune. And
okay.
somehow, the madrigal singers have been, during the 90s when I was their arranger. We've been singing a lot of popular music, because that has, get the attention of all our.
What is the name of the tune? Because the people ask, what is the name of the tune?
Okay, the name of the tune is Sana'y Wala Nang Wakas.
That
It
means
means I hope there's no end. So it's a love
ah,
song. It's a love
okay,
song,
love
and
song. So
yeah,
let us play the song, and then we will discuss about that. So just give me a few seconds that I can prepare, and we are here. So let us go.
Bigyan tutok ang aking ligaya. Walang hangganan ang aking pagkat walang katapusan ang ibig. Kung yan ang paraan upang landas mo'y masundan, kahit ilang ulit ako'y iyong saktan, hindi kita maaaring iwanan. Kahit ilang awit ay aking awitin, hanggang ang ibig mo'y paligid, manatili. Kahit ilang
Okay, so here we have the we done. Well, let's just wait. I think that maybe I just want to say something. I feel maybe I'm wrong, Robert. So you can say I'm wrong. Don't worry, I will not kick you out of the program even if you say that.
It's okay.
But no, but I feel really that this arrangement, because it's a pop song, indeed is quite American. So it's so if I have to listen and I don't know that is you, I would say, oh, probably can be one American, or that in this arrangement, because you say it's a pop song, so of course it's not a folk tune. Is a popular tune, yes, but I cannot feel what is the Filipino element, but I'm asking you, no, it's not, it's just really asking you, only that I see that Filipino, this is like Italian in a certain way, you tend to be very sentimental, also Italian. So we are both the same. But what is maybe can you explain me?
Yes, because we are colonized by the Spaniards
Yes,
for 300 years and the Americans
yeah,
for 30 years. And
yeah,
up to now, we are very influenced by the American music.
yeah,
And for example, in the radio and in the TV, the glory days, I mean, we always listen to the modern top 40 music. So our composers are influenced by this. Most of our
yeah,
composers are influenced by the American and the European music. And if you put all this together, and it will sound like that the one that you heard.
yeah,
And in our music, because this is an art song. This is
mm,
called a kundiman. It is
mm,
usually a serenade.
mm,
So the Spanish influence and the American influence are
mm,
present in the melodies of the popular music of the Philippines. I'm sure the
mm,
same in other countries.
mm. But you say that this melody was composed when the melody
The melody was composed in the 80s by
in the
a famous
80s.
Filipino composer.
Okay, and
I
then maybe
just
I want to say something about that, but before, please, the other Roger, maybe you.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's very reminiscent of some of the movie music of traditional homophonic movie music from the 40s or 50s in the US. It was lovely. It was very lovely. When you said madrigal, though, I expected polyphony. I expected there to be these interwoven parts. I would say that is sort of traditionally choral. So
Yes.
nice job.
Yes. It's good that you said that because, of course, there was only a bit of a madrigal part writing there style, but my style actually is more of a madrigal style of writing. It just so happens here in this music, I have included all the different kinds of techniques, arrangement techniques, in order for that song to be successful. I mean, to be efficient for our audience. If I would arrange it very with contrapuntal, it might the audience might not be able to understand much.
It would not have been suitable. I don't think it's a ballad basically, and it was lovely, and it sort of called for that homophonic kind of approach and traditional choral approach. So I thought you did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
And I want to mention something that related to this piece, but also to other pieces. That is a topic I really think is important. You say that the melody was composed in the 80s. So like 70 years ago, 60 years ago, what is 80? No, what is 40 years ago? Sorry, 40 years ago. So how you deal with the copyright issues, in your case, but also in the case of Astor Piazzolla, or in the case of the American. So how you deal with that?
The copyright laws or the copyright has been in the Philippines since the 80s or the 70s. But the problem is they were not really concerned about choral music, the copyright of choral music, because choral music came in just late 90s. I mean, the writing of arrangements, choral arrangements, didn't become as popular as during the 90s. So, all of us were not really accustomed to the laws of the copyright, although we have it in the Philippines. We were not accustomed with the copyright, which is usually based on the copyright laws of the Americans, of the United States. But we were not really concerned about that. And it was just recent, like towards the first part of the 21st century, that we are now becoming aware of the copyright laws. And now the problem here is because this has been arranged for so long ago, although until now they've been singing. So the copyright owners do not mind the madrigal singers or any singers for that matter, for the choir, to claim the copyright. But there is already now a move in the Philippines to on the copyright, but not really on the choir, because basically in the Philippines, choral music is not really a big money industry. Choirs exist because of the church, community, and that's it. They do not earn about it. So it's not really a big industry in the Philippines that you get to claim all these copyright fees from the arrangements.
But indeed, I want to ask Roger about this. And now we don't mention now you are related with Hal Leonard. Maybe you are just maybe how would you say, someone that is independent.
Well, thank you.
And how you deal if you want to arrange, for example, a song of Michael Jackson, and you don't have any relation with the publisher? How you do that?
Right. Well, there's been some real evolution here just in the past few years. Prior to the last 3 or 4 years, you would go to the controller of the print.
Yeah.
Now, in the case of most catalogs, they are controlled by Hal Leonard. And if you wanted to do a custom arrangement, you would contact their business affairs department, and I asked them, say, I'd like to do an arrangement for my choir here in the Philippines, SATB, and I'd like to do 30 copies. And they would either, you know, if Hal Leonard owned an arrangement similar, they might deny that. But if it was something new and fresh, they would give you a license or sell you a license for a nominal fee, and you could go ahead and arrange it. Now, over the past few years, now this may be only in the United States. I'm not sure, you know, because copyright laws vary around the world. But through Sheet Music Press, SMP, and they have an Arrange Me feature, and there are, I believe, at this point, several 100,000 copyrighted songs that are available. And I think ultimately it's going to be 3 million songs, most of those that Hal Leonard control, that will be available for arranging on that website. You will basically do your arrangement. You will provide a copyright notice. You will upload it, and then they will sell it for you. They will pay you a 10% royalty. So it's really opening it up for arrangers to legally move ahead and to compensate those who have created the piece. So,
but the songs are like there is anything or some songs are not included.
Some songs are not included, but you should check there first. If they're not, then you can either, you know, if it's a catalog that Hal Leonard controls, then you would contact their business affairs department. There is a permissions tab on their website.
So, Roger, for example, I want to mention to you about one specific composer.
Yes.
For example, me and I think you, because I think you arrange also a lot of tunes from this composer. I like very much the music of Gershwin, for example. And I know that he died, what is it, 80 years ago, I think, because he dies very young. But the estate that control his rights, I don't know, they renew this kind of. So how you deal when, because of course it's fair that the composer can make money, but I think it's also fair that the music can live. Because when you arrange, you give another, you know, another way to this music to be performed.
Well, the reality is that the copyright holder controls all of those rights, and in fact, when you do an arrangement, they own the arrangement. You never own it personally. It's always owned by the copyright holder. In fact, we sign what are called work for hires to ensure the fact that we have no copyright claim even to the arrangement. And if
you mean also the arrangement that you are doing?
Even the arrangement that you're doing, it's owned by the copyright holder once you do it.
Yeah. Okay.
You may receive royalties on those copies, but the fact is they control the arrangement.
Okay. So you have no claim on the
No.
And Oscar, so how it work with Astor Piazzolla?
Well, Astor Piazzolla has published his music in several companies. Those that were in Argentina, they have been sold to Werner Chappell. Yeah. So and some of them are from in Italy. It's Curci in Milano.
Curci. Yeah.
And well, many others are published in many other places. But there is a society in the case of Piazzolla that if you want to do an arrangement and to publish it, then you have to pass through this something, I don't know. It's not a company. It's an association that will accept or not the arrangement to be published.
Okay.
That means that they keep the quality for them. In their own opinion, the quality of the arrangement that you are asking for publishing. So this is what I had to do, and I sent the arrangement. This was many years ago, more than 40, more than 40, or 35 at least. So I sent the arrangement, and well, I had I was lucky, and they accepted the arrangement, and then I could publish it. Then I asked the others arrangement for publishing, because Piazzolla wrote the Four Seasons in tango, and well, I wanted to publish them, so I went back to these people, and well, I didn't send the arrangements. They already accepted, because I had their acceptance for the first one, and they decided that it was okay, so I could manage. But after that, next year is going to be the 100th anniversary, the centennial of the birthday of Piazzolla, and we are doing here a big virtual choir playing Libertango. So everyone can bring their voice and their recording and their video, and they have to pass from by a certain committee to accept the voice and everything. But we are going to do this. But I wanted also to publish a fugue that he wrote in tango style. Amazing. Absolutely fantastic. And I did the arrangement, and it is being played for a long time. But I didn't have I didn't want to publish it, because I was sure that it was going to be a big trouble. But this year I started to knock some doors, asking whether it is possible to publish this, being the centennial of him, so we can honor him by publishing this new arrangement of his fantastic fugue. And originally, this music was written when Piazzolla had the company that was accepting the arrangements in Argentina. It was called Editorial Lagos. But Editorial Lagos sold the publishing to the Warner Chapel. And the Warner Chapel passed all the music by Piazzolla to a new one that is called Alfred. I think it's depending of Warner Chapel. I think, I'm not sure. But anyway, they have also my arrangement, because my arrangement, no, my composition, Tangueando. It was published by Lawson Gould. Lawson Gould sold the company to Warner Chapel, and guess what? I have to lead with Warner Chapel now. So when I asked them to allow me to publish this, well, they charge a lot of money. They just ask me a lot of money. It's impossible to accept that, because it's a fugue. It's very difficult to do. Not many choirs will be able to sing it, and so there's no way that I could pay that amount in advance. So unfortunately, the things are different depending on the own writers, on the owner of the copyright. Sometimes you can be lucky, and they will accept. If they need that music, they will accept, and otherwise they want to profit with it. And if the composer is very well known, well, the money that you have to pay is bigger.
Okay. But I think what Roger say is also interesting about the Sheet Music Plus, because there basically you have direct a connection with the platform. You know, you don't have a
Yeah,
connection with
and,
the.
and and it will be expanding. And you're right, Alfred is basically the print publisher for Warner Chappell, and it's Hal Leonard and Alfred. If you have something you want to arrange, one of those two will probably, unless it's a very small catalog, will probably control it. So if you go
So,
to
for
their
example, if you want like to arrange a song by Richard Rogers, for example, you know, My Funny Valentine, you can, even if you are not a composer related directly with Hal Leonard or with this big publisher, you can just go there and submit your arrangement, and then they will sell it.
well,
And
that you're talking about Sheet Music Plus.
yes,
If it's on the approved list,
yes.
then yes.
Okay.
If it's not on the approved list, you can still make a request to Hal Leonard or Alfred. And if it's an Alfred publication, they'll usually send you to Hal Leonard. If it's Hal Leonard, they'll send you over, to Alfred if it's theirs. So those are the two main portals that I would contact if it's not on the pre-approved list at Sheet Music Plus.
Hmm. So that's interesting. That's something
Again,
I
those may be only U.S. rights, and it's probably territorial. They're probably not worldwide. So depending upon your country of origin, that it may not pertain. So.
Okay. I think everyone should check about this possibility, because I think will open many doors for people that want to, to have to arrange some music without going through paying fees that are not, possible to pay. So I want to first, before we end, I want to remember people about Saturday. We have this program, Wagner, Nietzsche, Schoenberg, and Mick Jagger, The Dark Side of Modern Music. Will be 5 p.m., same time of this program, and in the same channel. So if you if you have time, please join us also for this program. And also, I want to remind you about Monday, a very important program, How Musical is the Child, Music in Early Childhood. And we will speak about the book of Professor Nicholas Bennon about how to teach music to very little kids. And we will have also there a very experienced panel to discuss in the way I hope we were able to discuss today. That was a very nice and enjoyable discussion, and a very, I would say, in a very friendly way, just sharing to improve what we all of us we know about the topic. So I want to thank you, all of you, all of three. I hope that there will be occasion to have you sometime in the future for another program. So thank you, Robert.
Thank you. Thank you. Grazie mille.
Prego, prego. Thank you also, Oscar.
Well, I am very, very much honored to share this program with these people that I know for so many time, not personally, but through their works, and I admire really. So it's an honor for me to be sharing with them, and thank you very much, Aurelio, for this opportunity that you
No
gave.
problem. And thank you also, Roger.
And thank you, and Oscar and Robert and Aurelio. So nice to meet you this way. We are now friends. You've made my life better.
Yes.
So now, please, you three, wait just 1 second when I conclude, so we can greet each other in private. But before I have to end the broadcast, so thank you again for all the people that was listening. The program will remain in Facebook and in YouTube for everyone to see also in the future, forever and ever. Okay, so thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Bye. Just wait.